Maha was a lady who was always quiet and wise. Her marriage had been predetermined and was only a few months away. Her family was middle class and relationships were highly valued. Love was frequently concealed. Zara, her older sibling, had married 3 years prior. Asen, Zara's spouse, was the epitome of perfection: tall, handsome, well-mannered, and thoughtful. Maha would experience a slight aching in her heart as she observed Asen whenever he visited their home. Initially, she believed that it was a harmless infatuation that would eventually dissipate with time. However, these sentiments continued to intensify as time progressed. Maha did not utter a single syllable. She was only able to appreciate him from afar. Maha would experience an unusual sense of hollowness within her when he conversed with Zara, shared a joke with her, or chuckled with her. She aspired to be in Zara's position. One day, Zara arrived at her parents' residence to spend a few days. Asen dropped her off, but he had a meeting in the city, so he stayed for a few evenings. The guest room on the upper floor was assigned to him. Maha's apartment was situated on the same floor. Late that evening, Maha observed Asen reading a book in solitude on the veranda while everyone was fast slumber. She summoned the fortitude to address him. "Is it truly possible to acquire all knowledge through books?" Maha inquired with a gentle smile. With a gentle smile, Asen gazed upward. "No, there are certain aspects of existence that can only be comprehended through personal experience." Sitting adjacent to him was Maha. It was the initial instance in which they engaged in such a frank dialogue. The situation was peculiar, as it was both beautiful and inappropriate. The bond between Asen and Maha began to change over the course of those few days. They could both sense the unspoken line that was conveyed by every conversation and smile. Maha began to perceive that Asen was experiencing an emotion as well, although he was hesitant to articulate it. Maha inquired of him one evening, "Do you share my sentiments?" Asen gazed into her eyes with anguish and stated, "Maha, you are Zara's sister. The emotions we are experiencing are incorrect." Maha's eyes filled with tears. However, the heart does not acknowledge relationships. "Have you ever gazed upon me with your own heart?" On that evening, Asen maintained his silence. However, his gaze communicated more than any words could. There were no confessions or declarations. However, emotions were subtly simmering between them. The passage of time occurred. Asen returned, but Maha's heart remained behind. On a daily basis, she would check his online activity field, envious of the images he shared with Zara. However, she had a nagging suspicion that Asen was not genuinely content. One day, Asen sent her a message. "I am missing you. It is possible that this is incorrect. However, I am incapable of deceiving myself." Maha's heart raced irregularly. She was profoundly affected by Asen's admission. They initiated their conversation in covert. Every night, they exchanged poems, shared their views, and expressed their emotions. "I believe that everything would have been different if you had entered my life earlier," Asen stated. Those words were nothing short of a miracle for Maha. However, each aspiration concludes. The emotional bond between Asen and Maha continued to deepen in secrecy. Their emotional intimacy had reached a depth from which there was no simple return, despite the fact that they never crossed any physical boundaries. Zara began to perceive an object. She perceived that Asen had undergone a transformation. He spoke less frequently and beamed at his phone without any apparent reason. Zara inquired of Maha, "Maha, is there a problem between you two?" On a particular day, Maha became pallid. She only managed to say, "There is nothing like that." However, Zara was able to discern the truth in Maha's gaze that her words could not conceal. Maha began to distance herself from Asen on that day. She sent him a missive. "This must conclude. Zara is my sibling and you are hers. But my heart belongs to you," Asen replied. "Mahalo." Maha wept throughout the night. Her heart compelled her in a particular direction. The other is relationships. She was rupturing from within. Maha had been united in matrimony with Cheyenne, a man who had recently returned from the United Kingdom. He was a gentleman who was well-educated, respectful, and empathetic. However, Maha's affection for Asen persisted. Asen requested that Maha meet with him for the final time a few days prior to the wedding. They encountered each other at an antiquated library where the atmosphere was serene and still. "If you wish, I am willing to relinquish everything and become yours," Asen stated. Maha maintained her silence for an extended period. Then she clasped Asen's hand and declared, "You can never be mine, as you will never truly abandon her, and I can never betray her." On that day, they bid each other farewell with sobs. It was their initial and final encounter during which love acknowledged its defeat. Maha married. Cheyenne proved to be a man of great wisdom and comprehension. He respected Maha's privacy, acknowledged her reticence, and never coerced her into any action. As time passed, Maha began to forget Asen, or at least, he ceased to exist in his memory. She transformed into a new version of herself in this new existence. However, on occasion, she would inspect a diary in which she had recorded each moment she had spent with Asen while everyone was asleep at night. On the final page of that diary, it was written in the name of another individual. "He loved me." Perhaps that is the genuine essence of true love. Like what you heard. There's plenty more heartbreak and secrets to come. Hit like, subscribe, and stay curious with Tangled Truths.